Okay, but anyway, yes, folks, that was Ace Attorney, not only just Rise from the Ashes, but Ace Attorney, the first game as a whole. And we've been going for about 3.5 hours, actually. So, alrighty.
Before we continue,
Okay.
we need to give them sort of a overall game for this section, but overall for the first series. So, for this section, I'm going to rate it a 3 out of 5. The reason why is because too long. That's the only reason.
So pretty much just for like, at least for like, just for Rise from the Ashes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as for the first section
of
5 cases...
Well, actually, before we get to the first game, do you want to give a little detail on like why you give it like a 3 out of 5? But sorry,
so it's just the long case.
Long case and such.
Just how long it took.
Right.
Whenever me and you played it together before we even started the series, it took 4 days, 5 days.
For me, like I think it took like it did take a little while for me to like finally complete this case again and everything.
And that was me coming over every day,
pretty
just
much
to practice.
Yeah, and pretty much even when even when you do play this case again after so long and everything, like I said, I will admit there are some parts where like it does drag on and everything, and it does overstay its welcome. Before I go ahead and get my thoughts, was there any good thing about this case that at least saved you to at least make you give it like a 3, like a decent rating?
The storyline was really good, even though it was drawn out. But the new characters gave it some new, instead of just keeping with the same schedule. Because each game is designed for a reason.
Yes.
Each episode was designed for a reason. In this situation, this was kind of one of the, as you explained at the beginning, this case isn't kind of part of the story.
Isn't kind of, but it will still play
issues.
It does, and actually it will still play a part later on in the series.
Correct, because it fixes the issues of the story that were missing for the next game.
Pretty much, yes.
Essentially, what Capcom
and pretty much the creator
of it, what they did was when they made this episode, it was to be an in between, kind of like a 0.5 to kind of mash the new story and the old story together.
Pretty much, and don't forget, because there's a little reminder. When the original Ace Attorney came out, it only had 4 cases for the Game Boy Advance and such.
When the DS hit, they added this case.
And that's when they added this case. For like one to like show on what the DS could do. Like once they would finally make an Ace Attorney games for the DS and everything.
And then when they came out with the trilogy, they decided instead of making it the original, they just ported it right from the DS, and they continued the other games.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
so
the reason why they did a port instead of redoing the entire series was because they wanted to keep the originality of the game. They didn't want to just remaster it.
Pretty much. Well, actually, technically, this is a remaster in a sort of sense, but there are still some like stuff in it that is like different and everything.
Like some of the glitches are still there.
Yeah.
Like when they ported it over, except for PC, the glitches of the DS version are still there.
Yes.
But when it's ported to PC, those glitches are there.
Yes. So, alright.
I love those glitches.
Alrighty, so is that your...
It's still a 3 out of 5.
Alright, so before I give my thoughts, Barney, I am also very curious, so you go next. What is your final thoughts on Rise from the Ashes overall?
All right, so I'm gonna start by saying that the trials were much better than the investigation, because the investigations had a lot of "cause this is feeling of the time," whatever,
Shut up.
There was a lot of filler, and at least for the first half, there was a lot of filler, and to the point where I was getting so sick of this case. But it wasn't until we went into Damon Gant's office that's where the case started to pick up for me. And I'll be honest, like this case goes on for way too long than it needs to. So I'm just gonna keep my thoughts short because I have a feeling Siko has a lot more to say. Overall, the case was pretty good, I will say, but it's not one of my favorites. And the highest I'll give it is probably a 6 out of 10 overall.
So essentially 4 out of 5. No,
Actually, more like a 3 out of 5.
5,
Yeah, still 3 out of 5 if we were to go that way.
how many times did I yawn through that case? Like,
yeah, and I do know I have felt that you were getting bored throughout the case. So
how many times did I go into the kitchen?
yeah, go in the kitchen or pretty much. You know what? I'm just gonna take a nap on your couch.
I did take a nap that entire episode.
Yeah, pretty much. Alrighty, so I'll also go ahead and give my thoughts. So, alright, case 5, Rise from the Ashes. So, like I said, this case right here is split with a lot of Ace Attorney fans and everything. And I'm actually one of those people that, to where I find this is another case that, in some way, I feel like is underrated in a sort of sense. I feel like a lot of people, well, not a lot, but there are a couple of Ace Attorney fans, especially when they play the trilogy, they'll always want to skip this case and, like, pretty much just come back to it after they get done with Trials and Tribulations. Which, in a way, I can understand where they are coming from, because, yeah, if you're going technically by release date order, then, yeah, technically this case does come out after Trials and Tribulations, because, like I said, it's not part of the original Game Boy Advance trilogy and everything.
And again, they only made it as a filler because of story.
Pretty much, yeah. So I can understand why they would want to skip it at first and everything, but I feel like skipping this case, like, altogether and everything is kind of a bad move, in my opinion, because... like I said, and as ESM pointed out, there are still some parts, like, in the story that will actually get played out during a little bit once we get to Justice for All and everything.
Especially in Justice for All, no spoilers, but you will meet characters.
You will meet some characters again and everything, and you will get some, a little bit more of an explanation as well, too, regarding, like, what we just found with Edgeworth and that letter and everything as well, too.
As well as that when you meet them for the first or second time in the second game, the Phoenix will already know them.
Pretty much.
But you as yourself will.
Yes.
Which is what caught me off guard when I played it in story order.
Which, pretty much, yeah, so, like I said, I do admit that, like, yes, this case, one of the drawbacks I will admit is that it does drag out, especially with the investigations themselves. The investigations themselves does actually drag this case out a little too long to a point where, like, I can see how some people, like, were bored with this this case and everything. And I'll admit, when I first played the game through myself and everything, there were some moments where I too was also stuck with, like, both the investigations and a little bit of the trials here and there as well too. So pretty much, like, the long length of this case actually does not help, at least in terms of, like, first comers and everything, and first timers when they come into this case and such. But honestly, like, the more I come back to this case and the more I analyze the story and everything, this is one of those cases where I really do like what they did with, like, the story on, like, this case. Not only, like, trying to tie in on, like, what happened after Turnabout Goodbyes and in between Justice for All and all that, but pretty much giving, yeah, as ESM said, giving closer to, like, some of the characters, especially, like, with Edgeworth as well, too. I really do love on, like, how they were able to, like, give Edgeworth, like, another reason to, like, why he's doubting his skills as a prosecutor, and, hey, what better way to, like, show that, like, yeah, even the police can be corrupt as well, too, and making Edgeworth question himself on, like, you know, is he doing the right or wrong thing as well, pretty much when he found out that, like, yeah, he unwittingly, you know, caused a man to die because he used forced evidence and such, even though that he was a criminal.
This also adds into
pretty much, yeah, yes. This will actually tie in with, like, the investigations for Edgeworth as well too, which was
put into U.S. made, but then.
Well, actually, they were made. They were both made in Japan first, but only the first one made it to the U.S., while the second one stayed in Japan. For reasons I will explain once we get to that game overall and everything, because, yeah, like I said, that game is going to be part of the marathon. That's actually going to be the final game for the marathon, actually. So look forward to that and such. But yeah, another part I did like about this case, again, where's the trials themselves too, yeah. I'll start with the first one with Angel Star and everything. Once we got to Damon Gant, and yeah, I agree with you, the characters are just really, really great in this case. Especially with Damon Gant himself. Like, Damon Gant is hands down one of my favorite villains in, like, the Ace Attorney series and such.
He was awesome.
This is going back to pre-planning. That way we planned out, like, who did what. you just wouldn't shut up about I need to be Damon.
I
need to be Damon Gant. I need to be Damon Gant.
Yes.
We have to like.
We get it. We get it.
Yes.
Just kidding.
And you wouldn't let me shut up about like, oh well, you can't do this, you can't do that. I go, just let me be Edward, and I will shut up.
I mean, that's what I did.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, when we went to pre-planning and we looked at all the characters, it was either do this, this, or this, or do it this, this, and this, which really worked out in the ways of our styles that we do.
Yeah, it did.
Like with Bonnie's voice acting for the girls, you with your deeper for Phoenix, because you do a perfect Phoenix, and you also do Damon Gant really good.
Thanks. And that's also one of the reasons why I chose Lana as well too, because of like the southern voice and everything as well too.
Do it.
Let's see. Hey you, get your hands off that! I'm the Sam Hill. How's everyone gone now?
And do Damon.
Oh, right on my boy. What's with the straight face?
Now do Mr. White.
Mr. White? Okay. Welcome. Please furnish me with the title of your personage. Your name. What's your name?
See, like those main villains, you're really great at. And then when it comes down to Phoenix, it just makes you straight across. So essentially, pre-planning came out really good this time, instead of just figuring it out on the fly like we tried the first time.
Well, to be fair, with Professor Lane and everything, like, it was just more on the fact on, like, outside the main characters themselves, there's just a lot of characters and, like, characters that, like, we weren't really going to be interacting all with too much. It was, like, it was just one of those, just, like, hey, like, whoever wants to voice them, go ahead.
Now, the question for this is jumping later.
Okay.
Are we doing Ace Attorney versus Professor?
Of course we will. Of course we will. We are definitely going to be doing that at some point down the road. Definitely right after I do the walkthrough of it first. But whenever we get to it, I still haven't decided if I want to put it like as part of like the next Ace Attorney marathon or the next Professor Layton marathon. That I'm still deciding on myself. But like when that time comes, we will still do the Professor Layton and the Ace Attorney crossover. But before we do that, let me go ahead and get my final. Let me go ahead and continue my final thoughts on Rise from the Ashes real quick. So pretty much as I said, that yeah, the characters again were pretty much memorable and everything. Damon Gant, good villain and such. I just like how cunning he is and everything. And pretty much as someone's pointing out as well too, like, and this was also part of me when I first played it, but I honestly did not thought he was going to be the villain and everything at first and everything. But then as the case goes on and everything, you knew that like he was going to be a villain, and just the way that like he was presented himself, I don't know, he was just a lot of fun to voice during this trial and everything as well too. And to give us and I mean to give credit to like both ESM and Barney, both of them really did a great job as well too with their characters as well too. Like pretty much you did very well with Eshworth and such. You did well with Gumshoe. Barney did well with Von Karma and everything. He also did well with Angel and Maya and such. Like both of you did a very good job on voicing these characters and such, in my opinion.
I think for me it was because I was dying for this marathon to begin. That I just gave it all with Maya. Like voicing Maya was like the best part of this marathon.
That we kind of burned out at the end.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like we started off really great, and then we started burning out.
Well, like I said, that's why we're gonna take like this long break while I do like while I practice Justice for All on my own and everything. That way, we can give ourselves another long break before we're ready to do like Justice for All and all that. So.
And I'll be honest, Von Karma was the hardest voice I had to make.
So to finish this interview for the entire series of this section.
Yes.
So the 5 cases.
All right, hold on. I was gonna say I'll get my rating, and then go ahead. You can give your final thoughts on the first game.
What I was saying is all at 1, 2, 3. We're all gonna say our numbers out of 5.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm gonna do out of 10 for me.
But what I'm saying is, for the first section, the first 5 cases. Out of 5, we all say the number.
Okay. Alright, well, anyway, turns for Rise for the Ashes real quick. So, Rise for the Ashes with me, despite like the long and drag out parts and everything, I still enjoy it for what it is, and I enjoy it so much, I'm actually going to give it an 8, honestly. Gonna give it an 8 out of 10. 5. So, like 4 out of 5, yeah. So, it's still one of my favorite cases, definitely an underrated one and everything, but yeah, alrighty, so yes. So now we are ready to give our final thoughts on Ace Attorney, at least the first Ace Attorney game as a whole.
On the count of 3, out of 5, say your number.
Alrighty. 1,
2, 3,
4. What about you,
3.
Barney? What did you say?
3.
You said 3 as well too. All right.
Okay, so you and him are right. I say 4. All
right.
It's the first ever that, like, considerably the first ever game I played, like, constant. Besides Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like, it was the first ever constant game I actually put and dived into the lore. Like, how many? You introduced me to this.
I introduced you to this game because someone else was doing a Let's Play on it on their YouTube channel. And
that was how long ago? Because I was still.
We were both still in high school by the time like we were doing the Ace Attorney.
And we graduated 2016.
Yeah.
So.
And actually, even before that, a little fun fact about me, but I got introduced to Ace Attorney thanks to My Little Pony because the fan actually made like a little crossover called Attorney About Story. I mean, that's how I was able to get into Ace Attorney as well.
So essentially, besides you being a brother.
Yes.
I will bring that up as we're going. But essentially, since 2015,
pretty much.
Since graduating.
Which is funny because like the first Ace Attorney game takes place in 2016.
Okay, so what I suggest going forward for the next game is, are we playing chronologically?
We are still doing chronologically, so yes, like I said, after we get done with this, we're good. Alright, so again, here's how the marathon is going to work and such. We are going to do Ace Attorney, and then it's Justice for All, and Trials and Tribulations, and then to finish it off, we're going to do the 2 Edgewood spin-off games. So Investigations 1 and 2.
And then when does Versus come in?
So Versus will come in after I do the next set of Phoenix Wright games on my own as walkthroughs and such.
Okay, so about a year or 2.
Yeah. So, alright.
One thing that we can all
I was gonna say
is that we are going to watch the movie.
One day soon. Not tonight though, because after this I'm literally going straight to bed.
Yeah, you got work every day.
Yeah, well, if I have work. But anyway, before we go, so you already explained your reason why you gave it a 4 and such.
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Essentially, the first set of games is what really got me in. Hence why I have in my DS, my 3DS, I have the Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
And you also have the trilogy again on Switch.
On Switch and Steam. And that, so essentially I paid for the game 3 times. And then I also have the Great Chronicles, the ones that are supposed to be ahead of time. I have not played the Chronicles yet.
I have not played the Chronicles yet either.
And I have not played the Dual Destinies. I've only played the first case of Dual Destinies. Because then I had to pay the $30.
So far I have not played any of the Apollo games yet either, so I'll be getting that soon.
So, yeah, chronologically, it's going to be the best option.
So.
Alright, so go ahead, Barney. What's your reason for giving it a 3 out of 5?
Alright, so now it's my turn to give a little bit of a backstory. So for the ones that don't know, for the ones that are new to the channel, me and Sekoa met in 2018, and while we were working on our very first, what I thought at the time was going to be a temporary project, the Season 5 review we did, in the meantime, he introduced me to Ace Attorney. Now, at the time, I was still, a fan of Undertale and all that stuff, but when he introduced me to Ace Attorney, it was like a whole new world open for me. I honestly loved this game. I really love this game. The reason I give it a 3 out of 5 is mainly because there was one case that I really didn't like, and that was the third case, which was the one about Will Powers.
Yeah, so pretty much for us, Barney is at least familiar with both the first game and the second game, Justice for All. He's a little bit familiar with Trials and Tribulations, but we stopped when we got to the third case because the emulation just, didn't work for us after a while and everything. So we decided, all right, you know what? Why don't we take a break and we'll come back to it whenever we want to come back.
He came back. He came in when Sarah.
Yes.
What was that?
Pretty much ESM said pretty much you came in like as soon as we were ready to do the marathon and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I came in as soon as we did the marathon, exactly.
Yes.
The reason I give the game a 3 out of 5 is because there were two cases where I felt like they dragged on, and to me that made me feel bored. The first one was the third case, which was the one with Will Powers, and then the final one, it's basically Rise from the Ashes. That it got better. It got better at the end, but I will admit that the first half was kind of boring. But other than that, I really enjoyed this game, and if I get the chance to play it again, I will. And I'm excited for the next one. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Or if I have to give a 1 out of 10 rating, 7 out of 10. There we go.
Alrighty. Alright, well for me, the reason why I also gave it a 3 out of 10, or at least a 3 out of 5. If I had to give it out of 10, I would definitely give it at least a 7 out of 10 for the first game. And the reason why I gave it for the first game overall and everything is that, like you all said, pretty much this is the Ace Attorney game to give any Ace Attorney fans, or at least any Ace Attorney newbies, reason to check out the series and everything. And as the first game and everything, it does a really good job on inviting new people in for the story, the characters, getting an idea of how the trials are going to go down, how to capture bad guys and everything, how to save your clients and such. There's a lot of stuff in the first game that does keep newcomers in, that does keep newcomers engaged. I want to continue on with the case as the pretty much as the story goes along and everything. And pretty much I know that when I first played through the game and everything, and even seeing some people playing through it and such, pretty much I wouldn't say I was hooked right in the beginning, but I was definitely very interested in the game itself and everything. And honestly, like I said, the fifth case was definitely one of the cases where I was just like, okay, actually, you know what? I do want to check out the other games and everything. I am actually really excited to check out the other games and see what they have to offer. Where they improved and such and everything. And pretty much as the first game for Ace Attorney and such, it still does a good job on pretty much like I said, inviting newcomers to come in and everything. It has a really good story arc as well too. I mean, Phoenix for the first time and how he's grown as a lawyer, and how we're gonna continue to see that growth as the series goes on. Especially when we get to the next game, Justice for All, and definitely Trials and Tribulations. You're definitely going to see that growth going as it goes along, and as the first case as the first game and everything, it does a really good job at least establishing how it began and everything, and pretty much getting to meet all the other characters like Maya, learning to be a spirit medium, as well as also trying to understand what it really means to be a prosecute. All these cases and all the characters that come together and everything, they form really well to basically make a really good little story arc and everything. That even once you take a break from this game and play it again after a long while, you might still find a couple of few surprises here and there that basically will make you appreciate this game even more, and definitely the series even more as well too. Now I will admit, the lack of replay value from this game, and because it doesn't really matter most of the time what you choose because you're gonna get the same ending either way. I will admit I will get stale after a while and everything, and it is one of the drawbacks to the series and such, I will admit. But like I said, once you take a break from this game once in a while and you want to play it again, like I said, there is still a lot of fun factors to be had with this game. And pretty much, inviting a friend that might also like mystery novels, or at least mystery games like this, there's still a lot of fun to be had and everything, and seeing other people's reactions too, who probably never seen the game for the very first time as well too. So. And pretty much as the first game, and how much that is done to pretty much bring new people into the series and such, it definitely does deserve the rating I think it gets. So yeah, so like I said, 3 out of 5, 7 out of 10 for me. Alrighty then, well guys, like I said, this will do it for the Ace Attorney marathon, or at least the first part of the Ace Attorney marathon. now that we're all done with Ace Attorney itself, like I said, we're gonna take a long break and everything. And during this long break, I'm gonna go ahead and play and basically practice. I'll just go ahead and show off. I'm gonna practice the next game that you see right here, Justice for All and such. So once I practice through Justice for All and everything, and I pretty much know what I need to do for each case, we'll go ahead and get started playing Justice for All and playing through the very first episode as we see right here, the Lost Turnabout and such. So pretty much look forward to that and such. I will admit, like I also said, Rise from the Ashes, not Rise from the Ashes, Justice for All. Justice for All and everything is a game that is mixed between the Ace Attorney fans and everything. Some people might like it, some people might not like it and everything. And it's kind of the same thing with the third game as well too, Trials and Tribulations. So I am very interested to see what both ESM and Bonnie will think on Justice for All once we get to it and everything. Because like I said, there are a couple cases and everything where the game actually, where the series really does show off its really impressive writing skills. But I will also admit, there are other cases that does make this game fall flat on its face and such. And sadly, the Lost Turnabout is one of those cases where it's like you either like it or you don't like it because of its little gimmick. But we'll get to that gimmick when we get to that.
This game is home to, at least from what I was able to research, one of the worst cases in Ace Attorney history.
At least one of them, yeah. And the third case that's actually involved in Justice for All is also another one that's been voted as one of the worst cases in Ace Attorney and such. So that's going to be very interesting when we get to those two cases and everything.
And I'm actually excited for the one that for what I was able to research is considered the worst.
Yeah, me too actually. So, but that's also interesting because one of the other cases in this game is voted as one of the best cases in the whole game. And honestly, I definitely do see where they're coming from, and in a way, I actually do agree with them as well. Anyways, alrighty guys. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this first part of the Ace Attorney Marathon. If you guys have enjoyed this Ace Attorney Marathon as well as the final part of Rise from the Ashes, don't forget to hit that like button. If you guys are super excited to see part 2 of the Ace Attorney Marathon, where we take a look at Justice for All. When we take a look at Justice for All, hit that subscribe button as well too. Speaking of games, don't forget, if you guys got any games you want me to try out, list them in the comments or on the YouTube or on my Facebook page. And because this is the last case and the last part and everything, Rise from the Ashes will actually get uploaded to the gaming channel real soon. Probably sometime around next week and everything, so look forward to that. And pretty much once it's all done with that, all you gotta do is just wait until Justice for All is ready to be streamed. Anyway, and yeah, also don't forget, if you guys like movie and TV show reviews, check out my main channel where I mostly do that. Check out mine and Bonnie's co-op channel, Review Bros, where we review movie, TV shows, and music together. And don't forget to check out both Bonnie and ESM's channels as well too. I'll put their links in the description below. Alrighty guys, well, this has been Sakura Diesel with my two good friends,
Bonnie?
And he's got something planned.
Oh boy.
What you got this time?
Well, I should be on my way soon, right?
Well, I mean, I know you got a stream to do, but we also got an outro to do.
No, I should be on my way soon.
Oh, the chat.
Chat!
Yeah, his new name is Chat now. It's probably gonna be this is gonna be his own running guy. He's gonna have new names every time we end up the streams.
It's ESM.
It's still ESM. Our good pal ESM. Alrighty guys, well thank you all so much for watching, and like I said, we'll let you guys know when we're ready to do Justice for All, where we'll take a look at the Lost Turnabout. But until then, take care everybody, and bye bye.
Objection!